Hi folks, welcome to Love Works. I'll be your host, TJ. For the next 4 months, we'll be focusing on the upcoming midterm elections. We hope to educate as many as we can on who the candidates are and what their campaign is all about. Our first guest, we were working together to help a friend who was having difficulty in court with DCYF, and I saw at that time the beautiful heart this woman has. We started working right away together, and she's got what it takes to be the governor of New Hampshire. So I'd like to welcome our guest candidate for governor of New Hampshire, Jilletta Jarvis. Welcome.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor to have you here as our first candidate in the series, and I'm really excited about it. Before we get into the topics affecting the state right now, why don't you let our viewers know a little bit about you, where you're from, how long you've been in New Hampshire, and so forth.
Well, I have lived in New Hampshire since I was about 6 years old. I have a wonderful husband, and we have 3 children. We live in Sandown, New Hampshire. I've lived in Sandown, I think, since 2011 is when we purchased our house. I actually moved in with my husband and his 2 children into Salem, so we met there. Okay. And then we had our youngest son, and I'm just looking over in that direction, but none of you can see that because he's here with me. But yeah, so I've lived in New Hampshire since I was 6, though I actually lived here for a short time on a small horse farm in New Ipswich for a little while before that. But when my youngest brother was coming, we moved back to live near my mother's parents in Massachusetts for about a year before we moved back.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, now I'm well aware of your passion for the family unit and how to, the importance of making sure that children are the number one factor in any dysfunctional situation. And I was presented with a bill last year by State Representative Kim Rice called it's HB 236. It's a shared parenting bill, and I know you're aware of it, and I just was hoping you could share your thoughts on it with us.
Well, as a person who is married to a divorced father, when I came into that family unit, it came with 2 amazing kids, and we were part of a shared family parenting plan situation where we actually went through mediation and set up time where our children could spend time with both my husband and myself and with their mother and her new husband as well. And I completely agree that children need every family member in their lives, and that the best thing that we can do is to support that situation. I do have concerns about forcing shared parenting in situations where there could be abuse. I was asked by a member of the community to come out and witness her experience in a situation where there could possibly have been abuse occurring. And what I've noticed is there seems to sometimes be a lack of empathy in the system, and that we sometimes push so hard to force a situation. We want the situation where a child must be with this parent from this time to this time, and they must be with this parent from this time to this time, that we sometimes forget that the child may have opinions and thoughts and feelings about this. And if they're afraid to be with someone alone, then perhaps what we should be doing is saying, okay, we want to make sure you have time with that parent, so we're going to give supervised time with that parent until we can better assess the situation, instead of forcing a situation where, we've unfortunately had children who have passed away while they were being reviewed, while their cases were being reviewed by DCYF, because we forced that situation to continue instead of monitoring. And now I'm not saying that we should be taking kids away from their parents, because then we set up a situation where if I don't like you, anymore because we got divorced. I just accuse you of something, and then it goes in the exact opposite direction where we have parental alienation. And
it's a sad
I won't
state
go
of
into a
affairs.
tirade right now, but it's a, it's a
believe
very
me.
touchy situation.
We could go on for hours about this, but awesome. What I truly appreciate about you, Jilletta, is you're completely focused on the solution. You're not looking at the problem and making the problem bigger. You're looking at the solution, and you're finding ways to make New Hampshire work in so many different ways.
My mother always told me, don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions.
She's a smart woman.
She is.
Okay. On the next topic I wanted to get into was, marijuana is legal medically now in New Hampshire, and there's a lot of confusion about marijuana hemp and what the difference is and this and that. And I know you have strong opinions about this, and like to get your thoughts on legalization of marijuana, decriminalization, whatever the case may be.
Well, I'd actually like to legalize both cannabis and hemp. Hemp is the product that, they make clothing out of, they make a lot of different products on, and it actually is not a subject that you can smoke and get high unless you really just like headaches, because that's about all you're going to get from, it's like smoking actual literal grass.
Right.
There's no THC in it, 0.03%, so it really, there are foods that we eat normally that probably have more in it than hemp does. So I would love to start a hemp industry in New Hampshire. Right now you can have hemp in New Hampshire, in the United States, as long as you don't grow it here. We can import the products from Canada. There are lots of hemp products out there. We just can't grow it ourselves, which is killing the possibility of an amazing industry, because it's an environmentally productive product. One, when you grow it, you can harvest it 4 times in a year.
Right.
And it's you replant it, it grows again. It's an incredibly sustainable plant, unlike a tree, which is a plant that you can replant, but it takes a lot longer to grow it to the point where you can harvest it again. But a hemp plant can be turned into wood-like planks that you use in housing. You can use it in insulation, and both of those products are resistant to termite, resistant to mold, it's resistant to fire, and they make incredible building products. There are whole houses that are made out of hemp product, and they are so much safer than building a wooden house. And here in New England, where we have lots of rain, we have winters that are so hot and get so dry that we can, unfortunately, we have chimney fires, and we have a lot of, we had how many fires this month alone in the state? As so many buildings have been burning down. This product is much more sustainable for living. And then also, when you plant it, it actually takes toxins out of the ground. So if you plant it in breakers near places like where, in southern New Hampshire, where we've had the water contamination, over near Rye Beach, where they've had the water contamination, where all of these children have been coming up with cancer, we can start taking some of that toxins out and reverse the pollution problems that we've had without forcing EPA standards on anyone. We just go in and fix the problem.
Right.
And we can also do it through the use of products like hempcrete, where you actually turn hemp into concrete. You can make that into roadways that soak up the toxins as the cars drive by. I mean, we could have an incredible industry here. Bring in young people instead of sending them away after they graduate from college because they want green technology and green jobs. We could actually have that industry here and then sell the product to other states who would all be wanting to get it from in the U.S. instead of having to go to Canada to get it. As far as actual the drug cannabis, I would like to see that legalized as well. I think that for medical purposes, there are many people that could have medicinal cannabis, but they're afraid to get that card, because once you get that card, you go on a federal watch list, and they're afraid they'll have other rights taken away, such as gun ownership. You can't own a gun if you're now listed as committing a federal crime. Because even though it's legal in the state, it's not legal federally yet.
Federally, yeah.
You actually can't get jobs in some state in federal government if you have a cannabis card,
Yeah.
even though it's completely legal to have such a thing. So if you have legalized cannabis, there's no card that you have to get, and we could expand past these distribution centers that you have to drive 1 or 2 hours to get to. And when
Right.
you're in chronic pain or you're in the end stages of cancer, those illnesses that you really need that help from, driving 2 hours to get to a medical center is just not even feasible.
Right.
It's just not feasible. But if you could purchase a plant and grow it in your own home and make it as you need it, it's just like growing any other herb in your house. You just
Exactly.
learn how to use it. You learn how to apply it. You know.
Yeah.
So I feel that it should definitely be legal in the state. I know that they've had so many studies done on cannabis, and no one dies from cannabis use.
No.
The only way you could get sick from cannabis use is, one, if you have an allergy to it. And if you have an allergy to anything, you shouldn't be using it. But they found that you'd have to smoke and have to be smoked. Just a huge quantity of cannabis in a very short period of time. And then what you get sick from is the carbon monoxide poisoning of actually breathing in smoke.
Right.
It's not actually from the cannabis itself.
Right.
It's also been found to help with opioid addiction,
Mm-hmm.
which we have a crisis in New Hampshire right now. We could be solving this problem
Yep.
instead of, just continually pushing it to the side. There just a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
Sorry
And
to cut you off.
no, that's okay. And that goes back to the looking for the solution rather than the problem. It seems that our current administration is focused more on what the problem is and not so much the solution. There are some people at the State House doing some great things,
There certainly are.
but the governor that's in there has his limits to what he's willing to work with, and it is affecting the state and the population in general. I wanted to say the only thing, the worst side effect from an overdosing on marijuana is a good night's sleep. So.
Or the need to go to your local convenience store and buy snack foods.
Yeah, right. Overweight, obesity. Yeah,
Actually, no, they have found in some of those studies that people who imbibe in cannabis use are actually, they may intake 30% more calories in a day, but they're also 30% less, they have 30% less body weight because of the raise in metabolism, which is one of the reasons that it's been found to effectively treat diabetes.
Wow, that is awesome information. I continually learn new and wonderful things about it. It's just incredible. And I remember back when I was a kid in the 70s and first experimented with it, saying, imagine if this was legal. And now, incredible where the world is going. Getting back to the family, I wanted to talk about your event coming up that you have in August, Save the Children. If you want to, let the audience know what the event is about and what your hope is for result with the event.
Yeah, absolutely. On August 18th, up in Concord, New Hampshire, at the State House, we will be having the Save Our Children rally, which is not something that is about my campaign. This is something that is meant to bring attention and support to the issues that need to be addressed with DCYF and Family Court. We will be having some speakers that are fathers, mothers, and previous children who have been through the system to come up and tell their stories so that you and everyone else can know, one, what's going on in the DCYF system if you haven't had to go through it yourself. Like, I never had to go through DCYF, the DCYF system, but when you listen to the stories, when you actually go out and you talk to the people who are going through it, it's a very enlightening experience. If you are someone who's going through it, come out as well, because it's important to know that you have support, that you're not alone, because it feels like you're alone anytime you're going through any kind of crisis. And when it's your family, it's a crisis. It really is. And I've also invited people from DCYF to come out and speak, some of our legislators to come out and speak, so that we can hear what they are doing to try to fix it. I've also invited Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACA, to come out as well. Actually, we'll be doing a fundraiser in conjunction with this, and any money that we raise is going to be going straight to BACA, because what they do is they go out to families where there is an allegation of abuse or there is a threat of violence against a child, and they will guard that child until they can receive police protection or they receive a restraining order or whatever needs to be done to protect that child.
Yeah, we've seen them in action, and they are awesome.
I have seen them in action. They're incredible. They're wonderful with the children. I've seen the children react to them, and they look forward to it. They feel more comfortable. There were kids that couldn't sleep until they knew that BACA was outside, and then they were able to sleep. So we've invited them out, and like I said, we will be taking any donations, and those donations will be going towards helping them, because they are an entirely volunteer organization.
Right.
So they don't charge anybody for this service. So any donations that they receive goes towards making sure that they're able to get people out to where the children need them.
And how can everybody donate to them?
Well, on my campaign page, I will be posting the event, and I'll have a link to the fundraiser that we're holding, so that we can bring all the money and present them one big check. Saying,
awesome.
Yay, this is how much we earned. I'd love to earn at least $5,000 for them. I know it's not much compared to what they need, but
it's more than they have.
If we go over that, that's incredible. We'll take it. I'm sure that they won't complain.
Yeah. And your website is Jilletta Jarvis, #4nh.com.
That's right. And then on Facebook, it is facebook.com/Jarvis, 4, and GOV. So Jarvis for Gov.
Okay. Jarvis for Gov. Okay, so by all means, take a look at that, donate. These people are absolutely amazing. BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse, they do some amazing work, and without hope of reward. They do it because out of the love that's in their hearts.
Yep.
And that's what we're trying to present here on Love Works, is how it works. And I've watched Jilletta for the last at least month now show that in everything she does, and same with BACA. And I'm just really excited about the upcoming election and everything that's going to happen. And geez, I can't thank you enough for being here. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
On Thursdays of every week, so actually today, at 7 o'clock at night, I hold on my Facebook page, which is again, Jarvis for Gov, a live feed question and answer session, so that if you can't come out to one of my events, you're always able to talk to me and get me your questions, your issues, anything that you want me to be talking about, that you want to hear about. You can come on to that live feed each week, Thursdays, 7 o'clock, and I will answer it. And if sometimes we've run over because so many people have been bringing up such great conversations, I try to stop at 8 o'clock each week. Sometimes it gets hard. And if I don't get to a question, we put it on at the beginning of the next week to make sure that we always answer those questions.
Great. I've experienced your Q&A, and it's extremely wonderful dialogue, and allowing people to voice their concerns, and once again, you offering solutions. I think it's fantastic. So anybody who's watching now, and every Thursday night, 7 to 8 on Facebook, I'll post a link on my page and on LoveWorks page, and get it out there. We'll get you as much exposure as we can.
Thank you.
That's what this series that we're doing is all about here on LoveWorks. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. I loved meeting your son, Quinn. He's a great guy, just incredible what he's able to do at his age. It's just really, you should be very proud. He's great. So, all right, we're going to wrap it up now. I want to just go over a few things about the election that's coming up. If you're not registered to vote, now's the time to do it. This is an extremely important election this year. The midterm elections are going to change the face of the country, at least the face of our state, hopefully for the better. And if you're not sure how to register to vote, just go to your town hall, see the city clerk. They'll get you the information, help you register. Make sure you have proof of age, citizenship, and age, citizenship, and residence. I knew there was a third one. And get that done. You can also register at the polls. The New Hampshire primary is September 11th, 2018. It's coming up in about 6 weeks. And then the election is November 6th. So get active. It is our responsibility as the members of the state of New Hampshire to get the people in office that we want, that will help to improve the state, not bring it backwards. And Jilletta is one of those, and we'll be featuring many more candidates between now and November. I hope to get even more on before the primary so that we can get as much information out there as possible. And we will continue to educate you in every way on that. Okay. As we wrap up the show, I really want to thank Dairy TV for allowing us to provide this information to the public. The crew here is outstanding and have really been very helpful to me and to the program in helping us to put out the best product possible so that you will learn as much as you can. In future episodes, we'll be meeting more candidates in New Hampshire as well as around the country. There are some great people running for office all over the place, and it's important to get to know who it is that's running and what their ideas are. Otherwise, we're just sheep again, back to being sheep. So everyone, get out there, get educated, learn what you can. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. There are plenty of resources available. You can go to our website, loveworks.net, and go to our contact us page and send me any message you want, and we'll take a look at it and refer you to the people or the places that you need to be. Okay, there is a lot of love out there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll stay tuned for more. We'll be back with new episodes much more frequently than we have been. One every 6 months just isn't doing it. So I hope everyone just take some time to do that. Get out and learn your candidates. Go to your town meetings. Learn who your town councilors, city councilors are. Who is it that's actually representing you in the state house in your state? Okay. Thank you all for watching, and I'm really excited. I'm very happy to have been here and to share this with you. Just remember, okay, love is just a word until you give it meaning. Thank you all so much for joining us, and be sure to be here next time. Good night, Andrea.